So today we're going to a place that I've been to about 29 years ago. This is Gaustatoppen. It's up in the clouds at the moment. Can't see it. 29 years ago I was here with my father. We did a trip up to Gaustatoppen Turisthytte. We tried to make a bid for the summit. We were beaten back by storm force winds right on the summit ridge. So today we are going to go and cheat. So where are we going? This is Gaustabanen. This is a train which goes into the mountains, and then from the mountain we then get a diagonal elevator going up. Why are we taking the train? Why are we taking the train, Rachel?
Because it's been raining all day.
Okay, so it's been raining all day, and would it be fair to suggest you don't particularly like Rocky Mountains?
No.
No, so
Only the Canadian Rocky Mountains.
The Canadian Rocky Mountains, are they friendlier rocks, are they?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we're taking the cheaty way up, and then from there I will attempt to make my way up to the mountaintop. So a very quick introduction to Gaustatoppen. On the right hand side on this map we have got Oslo, and 2.5 hours drive from Oslo you can get to the bottom of Gaustatoppen, which is on the road rising up above Rjukan. As you can see here, it rises up to 1,883 meters. It is the highest mountain top for a long distance around. You probably have to do a relatively short haul flight further north to get to Jotunheimen before you get to a mountaintop which is higher than this. As a result, the views are very expansive. You can take off from Sandefjord airport here, and just after takeoff you can see Gaustatoppen, and you can fly across to Stavanger, and just before final approach you can still see Gaustatoppen. It has got an enormous view. Apparently 20% of Norway can be seen from the summit of Gaustatoppen. Now, because of its reasonable proximity to Oslo, 2.5 hours drive, it is apparently the most popular mountaintop to be visited in Norway. I will also point out this website here, ut.no. Normally I use OpenStreetMap for my introductions, but ut.no is Norway specific. And as you can see here, if you zoom in a long way, you can get 1 meter contour lines, which I find fascinating. I don't think I've seen a free online resource with this kind of detail when it comes to mapping in the United Kingdom. OpenStreetMap is my usual go-to when it comes to online sources. But yeah, take a look at ut.no. It has a lot of official routes here, and you can click on these routes and you can see different information about that particular hike. Okay, so we've been told we've got the tickets, so we are going to go in here, and we're told it's 4 minutes to the next departure. Okay, Rachel?
Yes?
You want to go through first?
Oh, we've got to. What do we do?
You just scan it. There we go. I think we go this way. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yep. Yep, so this is the train right here. An unmanned train, I guess. Ooh. Oh, it opens in that way. Right, Rachel, you want to go in? This looks like the driving seat to me.
Do you think so? Do you think we should go back there? Have we got on the wrong bit?
No, I don't think so. I think this is fine. Okay, so we're on the move. And we've got no train driver. Okay, so we've been on this for about 4-ish minutes. Looks like we're coming to the end stop. there's a lot of water which is running in this mountain. Oh, it's a bit of a puddle, I have to say. Right. So I guess we get off here?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to take the next train.
I guess we let this guy open the door for us, do we? Yeah.
Connection train.
Okay. Look at that. It's a good amount of water. Go in here, Rachel. Ah, definitely smells damp in here.
Freezing, isn't it?
It's very cold.
Oh,
And the other thing is that these are all 45 degree, this is a 45 degree train. You can see up there, look at the flowing water which is up there. It's coming straight through the mountain. Oh, at least they've given us some lights, which is nice.
do you want to get the photo?
No, I'm fine. Hold on. Now we're moving. So here we are, nearly at the top. We do at some point. So we're at the steppy step bit anyway. Let's get this open. Okay, there we go. Okay, no problem. Is it possible to have a look at the controls when we come back?
Yeah, that's
All right, perfect. It looks quite modern in here. I wonder what's in there. Just walk through here. It feels colder in here. It felt nice and warm out there. You've got lots of history about it. Be good to watch that on the way back. And you have to pay to get into the toilet. Right, here we are. There's a little kiosk here. You can buy your knickknacks. Here we are, on the top of Gaustatoppen. A little bit of snow. So this has got the biggest view in the whole of Norway. It's even bigger than the highest mountain in Norway, which is Gautatoppen, and it's just down to the geography surrounding Gaustatoppen. There's no mountains nearby Gaustatoppen which get anywhere near as close. But as you can see, there is a footpath there, and it looks like a well-worn footpath. I don't remember it being this good all those years ago, 29 years ago. It looks like they put some money into it.
They've improved it.
Yeah, so you've got Gaustabanen, and then up here we've got the main D&T tourist hut. So you can stay the night up here if you want, and then beyond that, big massive antenna. We've got the ridge going to the proper summit. So we're going to take a wander up here. So there's still quite a lot of mist hanging around the antenna. Hopefully that will clear very soon. So this was where I got to last time, well, beyond the antenna, but let's just have a look. Gaustatoppen, 1,830 metres. Complete with toilet as well. The temperature here, 4 degrees Celsius. So here we're on a main platform right next to the antenna. I think the antenna adds another 75 metres on the summit, and the actual summit is in the mist over there. So we need to walk around to get to it. So I can spot a little red T. So
Stay here, honey.
okay. On the other side of the antenna, you just follow the red T's. So this is what we were faced with. We're on here. I say severe gale storm force winds. That's probably an exaggeration, but they were strong, and it probably feels a lot narrower than it really is when it's a bit strong, the wind. But yeah, quite a jumbled. Where's my foot? There. It's quite a jumbled mess of boulders. Nothing unusual for a Norwegian mountain. I've left Rachel behind. She doesn't like this kind of stuff. So I'll just carry on to the summit and see if I can get there. Of course, it won't be classed as a proper bagged summit because I cheated. Yeah, gonna have to say, this is a real jumbled mess of boulders. When you mix in the snow, it's precarious. Quite precarious. This is actually one of the easiest bits, but I have to think ahead about where I want to put my feet all the time. I've got this to go. Doesn't look like we're too far away, but I have to tread carefully. Okay, nearing the summit. Really awkward rocks. Here's a bit of snow. Looks like an animal has been here before. So I'll just follow these footsteps. Sometimes my feet do plunge into here. Interesting, the animal has been here, but no human footsteps to accompany it. So I'm thinking it must be a wild critter of some sort, but I'm not too sure what. I think Rachel would be interested in this indeed. You know, I'm so close and yet so far away. It's snowing now, and this terrain is absolutely awful. I managed to get down to there, and your proposal is to do big steps across big gaps between the boulders where you can just put a foot wrong, like there, and you put your foot and it will go all the way down into that hole there. The snow's making it treacherous. Now, this isn't ice axe and crampon territory, but it's not good. Anyway, I think the snow is confirming to me that it's time to turn back.
Now, I may have been prevented from reaching the summit of Gaustatoppen, but that did not prevent Dizzy the drone from circumnavigating the summit of Gaustatoppen. And we had a brief ray of sunshine amongst the clouds with which to fly the drone, and I think it's a spectacular shot. Now, a couple of things about Gaustatoppen which I have not mentioned before. The underground apparatus was built in the 1950s. There was an original proposal for having a tourist line going up to the summit of Gaustatoppen underground, and then it was later revised into a military proposal. And the whole establishment that we have seen underground was all classified, and it was a NATO base. Now, all of this was declassified as recently as 2011, and it's quite fascinating. There's apparently a 600 square meter conference room. We probably saw the door which said top secret. Apparently they do these dining sessions called top secret dining, which you can have at the summit of Gaustatoppen. In fact, the only feature that is missing from this apparatus is a retractable antenna. Now, if they had something like that, I'm sure it would make it into a James Bond movie at some point in history. But sadly, that is not the case.
Okay, so on my way back, just thought I'd show you what it looks like. A great big huge antenna in the view. The rocks are still off the scale for Rachel, but they're not off the scale for me. This is not so bad to deal with, but it is quite a, if you're used to Norwegian mountain hiking, you know that massive boulders are frequently occurring above 1,700-ish meters, and they really do slow you down. Like, instead of footsteps per minute, you measure it in terms of minutes per footstep, and when you're in that kind of terrain, you don't want to be there for very long. You always seek alternative routes, and it's one of the reasons why I've climbed so many more mountaintops in Scotland than in Norway. Norway is quite a bit more untamed compared to Scotland in terms of terrain. Okay, so the views are coming back, finally. So we go this way. Slightly awkward, this angled concrete here. And the earthing strips, earthing wires, quite decent sizes. Yep, Rachel's gone somewhere else, so I just have to find her. Okay, so here is a warm retreat from the blast outside, and if you are cold, you can buy a woolen thermal top. But it is now time for us to leave. Yep, it's the way to go out. One thing I will say is, if you do come in here, be warned. Be warned, there is the smell of waffles here. You will have to buy waffles. It is compulsory if you smell it. And it was absolutely yummy. It was expensive. So it was 250 kroner for 2 waffles and a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. You can stay there overnight. 1,900 kroner for 1 adult for 1 night. Or 1,400 kroner if you spend 700 kroner on annual D&T membership. D&T is Det Norske Turistforening. So it's the equivalent of the Scottish Youth Hostels Association, but they do mountain huts, and many of those mountain huts are just in the mountains. There are no roads leading to them. But occasionally you get a funicular railway in this particular example. It does. It's something that Rachel could have easily done if I knew it was as good as that. I think my memory has been eroded over 29 years of what it's like. I remember there were ski signs beneath Gaustabanen, which were bent over despite having galvanized steel poles holding them up. They were just bent over in a very curvaceous manner. Yes. There are pictures all the way along about the construction and commissioning of Gaustatoppen, and it is fascinating to just have a read at this stuff. So I was given permission to come in here and have a look at the control room, and they allowed me to film. They're not here, they're busy with other things. This is their control desk. You see CCTV, weather station, looks like windy.com. And then round the corner, you've got the controls and monitoring system. It looks like they've got alarms for various things. They've got door sensor switch positions, current position, quite interesting stuff. This is an interesting feature. This is your motor, it's a geared motor, and that's your main pulley. Now, it is funicular railway, which basically means that your loads going up and down are balanced as far as the railway carriages are concerned, but that's certainly not going to be the case when it comes to the passengers. It will be unbalanced in terms of passenger numbers. So, interesting to note. And here is the train waiting to take us back down again. So it's very much one of a kind. And you can see the pulleys there. And it looks like here we've got what looks like an emergency train for when things stop working, no doubt. Shall we go to the bottom one? So this is the changeover section for the funicular railway, and we should be able to see the train coming up the other way. Let's see if I've got a better view up here. So it's passes through very slowly at this stage. And there's our train gone. Right, so here we are at the bottom. Okay. Got everything? Yes. Yeah, why not go in this one?
You go first.
Okay. There we go. Quite happy to sit back here. Okay, so that's the trip all done. And now, straight through here. So, from my perspective, I consider that to be cheating, strictly speaking. I don't think you can class that as bagging a summit. Yeah, definitely recommended to do that.
And yes, the difficult bit is right at the top, beyond Gaustabanen when it comes to getting to the actual summit. So the car park is quite a bit bigger compared to 29 years ago, since I was last here. But the footpath, yeah, that's also bigger. It's a decent tourist sized path. And this is the main walk route up to Gaustatoppen. So one of the things me and my father did was go wild camping, and it was from the car park. We walked a few kilometres down to this lake to do some wild camping, and 29 years ago that's what we did. And indeed I still like wild camping, but it was you know, it brings back a lot of memories, this place, it really does. Well, I'm now finally back at home after a 3-week-long shift on board a ship. And to wrap up this video, I think I want to just simply say this was a very special trip which I did. 29 years ago, Gaustatoppen and a nearby mountaintop called Blifjellet, a bit closer to Oslo. Those were my first mountains which I climbed in Norway. And indeed, that trip to Norway was my first dedicated trip to the country. So it was the genesis of my relationship with Norway, and it's nice to go full circle again. I still haven't climbed the summit of Gaustatoppen, just so close. And there's going to be one more video. We're going to go back to Oslo through Kongsberg on the way. So watch out for that video, that's coming very soon. And in the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.